Good morning, Forest Box kids. Miss Katie here. Happy New Year. Happy sunny Monday, windy Monday. I hope you guys are doing awesome. I am very excited to return to our nature art lessons. I love that we are doing ocean creatures. I love dolphins personally. I grew up in Florida, saw these often, so I thought we would do a dolphin today. Now, this particular dolphin, if we do background and water, is going to take quite a while, so I have oversimplified it, and we are going to do just the dolphin. However, if you would like, you can see a horizon here. If you would like to do a background of sky and water, I recommend when we get to the point where we have sketched out our dolphin, when I go in to paint the dolphin, you pause there and go ahead and paint your sky and your water around the dolphin. Do not paint on our sketch. And then resume the video for the dolphin part. But we are only going to be doing the dolphin today. And we're actually going to be doing our dolphin half size. This size is half of the sketchbook paper in our notebook. So if you'd like to pull one out, cut it in half, we are going to be doing a smaller dolphin today. I found that that's going to be a lot easier when you use lots and lots of paint. It's easy to get puddles, and it's easy to make mistakes that make it really difficult. So I thought I'd make it really easy for all ages today. This is our dolphin process. We are going to draw it, and then believe it or not, our finished dolphin is just 3 passes of watercolor. The first pass is a very light gray. The second pass over it is a medium gray. And the third pass over it is a dark gray. What I would like you to do, first I'll go over materials, and then I'll have you make your grays. We are going to be using, of course, our watercolor trays, only black today. We will need our brush. We will need our pencil for sketching, water. And one thing I love to have on hand often and always when I watercolor is a paper towel to dab my brush on to get rid of extra water or extra paint, especially because we're doing a smaller dolphin. We don't need a large amount of water or paint on our brush. And then it'll be very helpful if you had just some scrap paper so that when we're ready to start painting, we can go in and just brush it here to make sure we like the consistency of the paint and we like the color and it's doing exactly what we want it to do. All right, let's get started with drawing our dolphin. Pause that. I want you to pause the video now. And what I would like you to do is use your black, and I want you to go in with your paint tray, and I want you to create a very light gray. And then make sure you're going to practice this on a piece of paper. I want you to create a light gray. I want you to create a medium gray. And then I would like you to create a dark gray. I want you to swatch them onto a piece of paper so that you can see that there are 3 very different shades of gray, the last one being the darkest. Go ahead, and I want to make sure you have them in 3 different trays of your paint trays as well. Okay, go ahead and start mixing, get your black wet, and come back when your grays have been created. Okay, let's go ahead and start with drawing our dolphin. I'm going to go ahead and put these little guys, because they are the right size, right next to us when we draw. All right, so I'm going to start with the horizon, and it's going to be about 1/3 of the way up. That's going to give us the background. And again, it's your option now to pause and go ahead and create a light blue and a dark blue. But we are going to move forward. For our dolphin, we are going to start by drawing 2 circles on our paper. One for the head, one for where the tail is. Now you might be asking, where is this tail? The tail, kind of like my hand, is facing sideways in this picture, and that's why we can't see it. Okay, so I'm going to start with a circle by the head and a circle by the tail. We'll have it coming around here. Okay? Now, this circle, the front of this circle is going to represent the forehead. So I'm going to come down and I'm going to create the bill of my dolphin right off the circle, just like that. And then I'm going to rotate my paper to create this arch. Instead of moving my hand and trying to move my hand around, I'm going to rotate my paper so I can just go like this and loop all the way around. He actually has quite a big forehead. That's a big signature of dolphin. So I'm going to go up a little bit higher, just like that. And now I'm going to go around, trying to create a round arc. Kind of like this. Very similar. Now, you'll notice this dolphin looks much like a crescent moon. So we're going to embrace that crescent moon shape. And I want you to also notice that unlike a crescent moon, it is not really, really skinny. He's got a really wide tummy. So we're going to start arching down quite soon to create that body. And then once it gets low, we're going to start arching to bring these together. And then you're just going to bring them off. Now, here it doesn't look much like a dolphin, but feel free to make any adjustments. I would say make most of your adjustments after we've added these two fins. So here on the back, I'm going to create my fin. I'm going to make a curved line. Two curved lines meeting together. And then we have a fin here. It's about the same height. It's going to be a little lower. We're going to bring a line down, and it's not straight down. It's going to be a little bit sideways down, and it's going to be curving. And it's going to curve into the body like this. And then we're going to have the fin is going to be about this wide. So I'm going to draw a line here to help me see how wide it's going to be. And I'm going to curve also, and they're going to come together like this, similar to the way these come together. Now, where this fin meets the body, I'm going to create a line that mimics this arc. You see that? We have our entire dolphin sketched out. The only thing left to do is to erase the lines we don't need. The line of the horizon and these circles. Now, you'll notice I didn't perfectly land on my circle here. It was just a guide for me to know where I wanted to generally come. It did its purpose. As we remove our lines, it's starting to really look like a dolphin. Okay. We have our dolphin shape, and I'm going to erase this one. Please feel free to pause the video now and do all your adjustments. Remember, he has quite a significant forehead. His belly is quite wide here, and it gets much thinner at the head and the tail. These two fins, every piece of them is curved. And this part of the fin, where it meets the body, is going to be parallel, right along the same line as the arc of his belly, where it meets the body. Okay? Now, before we start painting, we want to set aside one area. The one area we want to set aside is this part right here. This is the highlight. This is where the sun is hitting the dolphin. It, in and of itself, is a small crescent. It's going to be higher on the body and longer and skinnier. You can place this wherever you like. I'm happy with that. I'm going to erase it slightly. Even on this one, you can see I have some pencil. Let's see if I can erase that. That looks better. But I'm going to erase it slightly. Try to lighten it up a little bit so that we won't see it in the end. Okay. Now, this first step, you'll notice, we're going to go in with our light gray. We are going to paint everything. You don't have to worry about going right around the fins and all of that, except this crescent highlight that we've set aside. All right, let's get painting. I've got my paper towel. I've got my extra paper to swatch, and I've got my water. All right. This is my gray. I'm gonna go ahead and double check that that's nice and light for me. Yep, nice and light. All right. Now, if you have a big puddle, go ahead and dab here, and that way we can, I don't want you to be racing the clock to spread out a puddle, because when they dry as a puddle, they do not look pretty. But if you have time to spread it out and even it out, that's what you want. So if you have excess water, go ahead and feel free to remove it from your brush, give it a dab, and that way when you come back into your dolphin, it is not, you're not working with a big puddle. You notice I can move this paint around. Move my dolphin rather than trying to adjust my hand position. You guys know what feels the most comfortable to you, so feel free to rotate your paper instead of trying to paint in an awkward position that will lead to more mistakes. One thing I do have on hand, though I think I can clip potentially it out now with YouTube. I'm gonna check and see on that. I have a blow dryer. That helps dry things faster on your paper if you want to try that. You definitely only want to use it if you don't have a lot of water on your paper. If you have a lot of water on your paper, you might end up blowing color around on your painting, and that is not something that you want to do. Okay. I have some significant boundary lines, and you know what? It actually looks pretty cool. I'll zoom in for you. You can see where some layers have started and stopped, but I like how it looks. Otherwise, if you don't like where you can see, you can come in with just a very light, wet brush, and you can blend the lines out. One thing you can do as you paint too is it's really helpful to paint in the direction of this dolphin. If we're painting strokes sideways, it doesn't really lend itself to the form and shape of the dolphin. But if you have strokes like this, it's going to be really easy for you to create form. If you observe on this dolphin, you can see a lot of strokes and things, but they're going in the direction of the dolphin, so it actually helps enhance the form and the shape and the 3D look. So make sure your brush strokes are going in this direction. In my chatting, my paper has almost dried, but I'm going to go ahead and use my dryer to dry it. For you guys, feel free to go make yourself a snack while your paper is drying. All right, that only took a second. Now we are going to use our pencil for our second coat. And we are going to set aside a couple of things. We're going to set aside this fin. We are not going to paint on this fin. We're going to set aside the bill of the dolphin. So I'm going to use my pencil and just draw a curved line down. Okay? That's going to give us the illusion, by not painting it, that sun is shining on his bill. And we're going to set aside a strong portion of this part. It's just like a long, curved section. And this gives you the impression that his tail is coming out toward you and it's sitting in the sun. So we have this, and now I'm just going to elongate a section. And it looks like a long rectangle. Just set that aside. Now, you can erase if you want to make it a little lighter, but you want to see. And since we are using gray, and I'm dabbing my eraser kind of, I'm not rubbing it to keep the line. Since we are using gray, and graphite is gray, it's okay if your lines are still there, they're gonna pretty much disappear. Okay, now we are going in with our medium. We are gonna go over the whole dolphin, except now these 4 parts: the bill, the fin, the tail, and this white part that we have already set aside. Aside from those 4 things, we are gonna paint everything this medium gray. Let's get started. All right, I'm gonna dip it in, and I'm gonna swatch it next to this light gray. And this definitely looks darker. And again, even though this color's not much darker, it is a second pass over. It's going to be another layer and a darker layer, so it's gonna really help us here. What I'm gonna do personally is I'm gonna start at the tail and work my way up. Again, paper towels are handy to have so that we don't have big puddles. And I'm brushing. All my strokes are going up and around just like the shape of the dolphin. And then just little by little, we're going to start seeing this dolphin come off the paper. Going around this fin. It is a very windy day today. We called a snow day at Forest School. It was very sad not to see all the kids after such a long time away, but I'm glad everyone was able to stay home and be safe. Did not feel like it was going to be safe for everyone to be driving on the roads. And on top of that, it felt like it said it would feel like -7 with the wind chill. That does not sound fun or safe to be out in. So I'm going to get real close to this highlight now. Now that I've painted around it, I'm going to follow it exactly. All right. We're almost done. Believe it or not, we're almost done with the whole dolphin. All the strokes we're doing in the direction of the dolphin are helping us. And I'm going to move my paper and I'm going to get started. Oop. See, okay, this is a good opportunity. I painted on the bill, and that's a mistake. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to remove paint. So what I can do is I'm going to wet my brush, and I'm going to come on top of it just lightly, and I'm going to wet it again and remove most of the water and just paint on top lightly. And what it's doing is it's absorbing that paint and it's removing that layer, which is so nice. It's one of the great things about watercolor, being able to use water to help you fix your mistakes. You definitely only want to do it with a perfectly clean brush. All right. So here we are. Mistake all fixed. If you made such a mistake, you can do what I did, use some water and clear up those areas that are supposed to remain light gray or white even. Okay, now I'm gonna feel with the back of my hand. It feels a little cool, so I am going to dry. That was very fast. Okay, we have our last layer for the dolphin, and that is the dark layer. Now, it's kind of hard to see the places where I did my dark layer because I blended it out. I used water to blend the colors. So the main places where I started is I used my dark gray at the fin. And when I stopped and I had a significant and strong line, I cleaned my brush and added a little bit of water and dabbed off most of the water. And I just brought the gray out and it created a blend. So I did that for all of the sections. There are 3 sections where I added dark gray. The fin, under the tail, because this tail is popping out towards us and it's creating shadow. And then a section at the middle of the forehead, following the line of the body, under this highlight to here. So it actually, the strongest section is going to start mid forehead, and I'm just going to create it right along here, a little crescent, not doing the fin, and then I used a watered brush to blend it out. So 3 places, under the tail, the fin, and the center of the belly. Let's get started. All right, I have my dark gray all made. It dried a little, and that's okay. So I added some more water to it, and I'm gonna swatch it to make sure it looks darker. I think I'd like it to be a little bit darker, so it looks quite different than the medium. All right, let's try it here. I think that's great. All right, so I am gonna start at the tail. I'm gonna get some of my paint. I'm gonna start underneath the tail here. Dab a little bit. I noticed a puddle, so I dabbed it on the paper towel. And I'm coming out like this. All right, at this point, you can see significantly this color change. So I got my brush wet. I removed a lot of the water, most of it. And I'm just going to use a wet brush. I'm going to feel it. All right, and I'm going to spread it. Right, I'm going to brush out from. Okay, so now we have a fade. And I'm going to do the same thing at my fin. And we are almost done, guys. I'm going to fill in, starting at the back of the fin. Trying not to create too much of a puddle. Use only a little bit of paint. And I'm going to fill it all the way in till it meets the body. And I can kind of create a line along the back of the body. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to rinse off my brush, remove most of the water. I'm going to feel it on my hand. And now I'm going to start spreading it out along, just making strokes along the body. Okay, now that is faded in. Okay, the last one, and then we add the eye and we are finished, is I'm going to start here and I'm going to bring it down and around. Middle of the forehead. Okay, now I'm going to fill it in. Avoiding that fin. Avoiding the bill. And now I'm going to get a little bit of water on my brush, remove a lot of the water, do some dabbing, and I'm going to try to blend this out a little bit. Ooh, too much water. I don't want to see a shine. I want it. I'm going to try to just blend out this harsh line by doing strokes along the body in the direction of the body. Get a little bit more water, remove most of it. And here, even on the head, I might bring it up a little bit. Okay, we have our shading done. And then little by little, as it dries, you can go back in and help blend it out, okay? But I am going to dry it. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with our final touch, go straight into my black and add an eyeball right there. Great job, guys. Our dolphin is complete. You are welcome to go in with water or color. The more color you add in these sections, the more it's gonna pop off the page if you wanna add more darkness. But otherwise, we are done. And I hope you love your dolphin. Great job. Please feel free to email me at katieprawl@havenforestschool.com. I would love to see your dolphins. One final touch I might add is a little bit of a line for this mouth that we didn't add. I'm going to remove most of my water and just create a little line right here and a line underneath. All right, great job, everyone. Have a wonderful week. I'll see you next time.